Hi, my friends. Today I want to present you a new story. Enjoy watching it.
I had just finished placing the last box in the living room of my new two-story house when the phone rang. The paint on the walls still smelled fresh, and the echo of my footsteps reminded me this place was mine. Finally mine. After 5 long years in the dim, windowless basement of my son's house, I had carved out a sanctuary of my own. The screen flashed Riva. My daughter-in-law's name still carried a weight I couldn't define. Half obligation, half dread. I hesitated, then answered. Evelyn. Her voice sang with forced cheer. Congratulations on your house. We'll be there in 3 hours with the family. My heart faltered. Family? I asked cautiously. Yes, she said, as if announcing a picnic plan. 17 of my relatives. We'll stay around 20 days. It'll be such fun. Don't worry, we'll make ourselves at home. The words weren't congratulations at all. They were a verdict. Riva. I began, carefully choosing my tone. That's an awfully long stay for such a large group. Oh, Evelyn, she cut me off, laughing. You've got a whole house now. Don't be selfish. We'll bring the food and energy. You'll love it. The line clicked dead before I could form another protest. I stared at the silent phone, my hand trembling. For a moment, the walls seemed to close in, the dream of my independence cracking before it even began. 17 strangers invading my hard-won peace, marching through the doors of the house I had barely claimed. It felt like theft without breaking a law. But I forced myself to breathe. Slowly, a cold clarity settled in. They thought they could overrun me, the same way they had when I lived under their roof. But this house wasn't theirs. This time, I held the deed. I opened my laptop, fingers steady now, and began typing notes. Short-term occupancy laws, local tenancy rules, damage liability. Each click of the keys was a small shield, a line of defense forming against the storm barreling toward me. 2 hours. That was all the time I had before my life, my peace, and my patience were tested. And this time, I vowed I would not be trampled. I stared at the bare kitchen table where a small notepad lay, one I had bought absent-mindedly along with groceries. Now it became my anchor. I wrote the first line in bold letters. This is my house. I'm no longer in their basement. The words steadied me. The doorbell startled me. I opened it to find my neighbor, Mrs. Carver, a sharp-eyed widow with a cane and a tongue as sharp as her gaze. Settled in yet, Evelyn? She asked, peering past me. Barely, I admitted. But it seems I'll have company. Too much company. She tilted her head. Family trouble? I hesitated, then confessed. My daughter-in-law is arriving with 17 relatives for 20 days. Her cane thudded against the porch. 20 days. That's not visiting. That's an occupation. I allowed a nervous laugh. Exactly. Her eyes gleamed. Then don't let them. Draw your lines. People respect walls when they're built firm. When she left, her words lingered like a challenge. I returned to the notepad. Beneath the first line, I added, Asterisk limit their stay. Asterisk set house rules. Asterisk do not be intimidated. The list grew, each bullet strengthening my spine. My phone buzzed again. It was my son, Mark. I answered, bracing myself. Mom, Riva told me you're nervous. Don't worry, her family's wonderful. This'll be good for you. You've got space now. I bit down on my tongue before replying. Mark, listen carefully. They may be wonderful, but this is my home. I won't be a guest in my own house again. Silence stretched across the line. Finally, he muttered, Mom, don't make this difficult. I'm not making it difficult, I said, steady. I'm making it mine. When the call ended, I underlined my first line twice. This is my house. And for the first time in years, I believed it. By late afternoon, the quiet of the cottage was shattered by the crunch of tires on gravel. I peeked through the curtain and froze. 3 cars rolled up, doors bursting open like a carnival had spilled onto my lawn. Laughter, shrieks, the thud of trunks opening. I opened the door before they could storm it. Riva, my daughter-in-law, led the parade, waving cheerfully. Surprised Evelyn. We made it in record time. Behind her, children ran straight toward the porch, dragging toys and bags. 2 women I'd never met trailed behind, already pointing at my flower beds. Careful, I said, forcing a smile. Shoes off inside, please. One of the men chuckled. City rules, huh? He brushed past me without waiting. My jaw tightened. Riva leaned close, whispering as if I were being unreasonable. Mom, don't fuss. They're family. Your family, I corrected, my voice firmer than I expected. In the kitchen, chaos erupted. Bags thudded onto chairs, a cooler slammed onto the counter. Someone opened my fridge without asking. I stood in the doorway, clutching my notepad in one hand like a shield. Excuse me, I said, raising my voice. Before anyone settles in, we need to be clear. This is my home. There will be rules. A hush fell, brief, uneasy. Then a teenage voice snorted. Rules? We're on vacation. I met his smirk head on. Vacations are planned. Occupations are not. Riva's smile faltered. Mom, can we not start this way? We already have, I replied. My hand trembled, but I kept my eyes on hers. Everyone is welcome, but on terms that respect me. Otherwise, the door works both ways. The air thickened. Bags sat half unpacked, glances darted like sparrows. For the first time, I felt the storm had broken not outside, but within these very walls. And I was standing in its eye. Morning came heavy, as though the cottage itself sensed the intrusion. I rose early, hoping to enjoy my usual ritual of tea by the window. Instead, I found two children sprawled across my sofa, crumbs of last night's chips scattered on the rug. The television blared cartoons no one was watching. I turned it off. Silence collapsed over the room, broken by a groggy protest. Hey, we were watching that. No, I said firmly. You were asleep. In the hallway, by the door to one of the rooms, there was a broken lamp, and in the kitchen on the table, there were a couple of broken plates and mugs. In the kitchen, Riva was already at the counter, making herself coffee in my favorite mug. Morning, Mom, she said breezily. We ran out of creamer. Hope you don't mind I opened your pantry. I steadied my breath. Riva, we talked about rules. Shoes off, respect the space, no rummaging without asking. She gave a short laugh, as though I were joking. Oh, come on. They're just kids. We're family. Which is exactly why respect matters. I snapped. My hand gripped the edge of the table. This isn't a hotel, and I am not a maid. From the hallway, one of the strangers called out, Lighten up, Evelyn. You've got such a lovely place. Let people enjoy it. That was the spark. I stood voice clear and sharp. Enjoyment does not mean invasion. I will not have my home turned into a free-for-all. The room went still. Even the children stared. Riva set the mug down too hard, coffee sloshing. Are you really making this into a battle? I'm making it into boundaries, I said. They're not negotiable. No one moved for a long moment. Then the children demonstratively took off their shoes and placed them neatly by the front door. A small victory, but it bolstered me. The tension was no longer hidden. It pressed against the walls, thick and undeniable. They might have arrived laughing, but I knew before long someone would test just how far my enforcement could reach. And I was ready. The following morning carried a strange hush. No television, no stomping feet, no careless laughter bouncing off my walls. I stepped into the living room and found the children sitting with their shoes neatly by the door, backpacks zipped. Their silence spoke louder than words. Riva appeared, eyes shadowed from a restless night. She avoided my gaze as she gathered a pile of clothes. Will, head out today, she murmured. I folded my arms, steady but calm. That's best. This place isn't built on chaos. I offered you shelter, not a takeover. She hesitated, then muttered, you could have just let things slide. I met her defiance with quiet certainty. If I did, I'd lose the only piece I have left. That's something I won't bargain away. For the first time, she had no quick retort. The children slipped on their shoes without protest. The door creaked open, and the cottage exhaled as they filed out. When the silence returned, it was not heavy, it was whole. I walked to the window, set my notepad on the sill, and wrote a single line. Peace kept is a battle won. I calculated the damage caused and sent Riva the bill. Closing the book, I let the quiet settle around me. It wasn't triumph marked by applause, but by stillness, my quiet victory.
Friends, what do you think of this story? Write your opinion in the comments. Would you like more stories? Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell button so you don't miss any videos. See you tomorrow.